Hi, thanks for joining us today. Today we're going to be going over the commission structure, and this is what agents always ask, before they go out for a listing appointment. It's important to set a tone with your commission structure. That way the residents in that community that you're going to be working are comfortable with that listing commission, and that they're aware of what your commission rates are. Because as you probably are well aware, once you start out in a community, you're going to make sure that they're consistent, because everybody talks. So if you charge one person $1,500, then you try to go to $2,500, everybody's going to be saying, well, why did you charge Sally $15 and now you're charging me $25? So the key is establishing from the onset what your commission structure is going to be. I don't set the commission structures out of the main office, so we leave that up to the agents. I'll get people that call in and I'll say, listen, it's up to the agent as far as what they charge, because it's based on the individual's time and then also sometimes experience as well. And that's going to be the key, because all the deals take time. Some take more than others, so you need to make sure that what you're going to be paid as far as your split is going to be worth your time. Okay. The other thing that you're going to want to know is what the competition is charging. If they're charging, $2,000, you don't want to be at $4,000. If you do, you want to make sure that you have a game plan as far as why you're charging more of a commission, because that question is going to come up. All right. So make sure you know what your competition is charging. Usually the people that you're going to be going on listing appointments already know. So if you don't know, you can even ask them and say, I'm not sure what those guys are charging now. What they charge? Oh, they charge like $1,500. Now, hopefully they're not telling you something lower though than what they're charging. They could be charging $2,000 and they tell you, oh, they're charging $1,500, just to see if you'll agree to that lower commission. So you definitely want to try to do your homework, because once you commit to that, that's going to be it. And then plus it upsets you if they told you $1,500 when they're actually charging $2,000, and now you're dealing with an owner who's trying to really get the commission down on you. So the key is make sure you know what the competition is charging, and you can figure out what your commission structure is going to be. All right. The other thing too you're going to want to remember is the average or the range that commissions that we usually see with Sun Realty are going to be anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000. Now on that lower end of $1,000, we've usually just used that initially to get into a community. Had a new agent, they're starting to work that community, and they say, listen, I'm going to do $1,000 commissions for only the first 4 deals. Okay, after that we're going to bump it to 15. Then after that we're going to go to 2,000. So what you want to do is get your foot in the door. Establishing a lower commission than what the competition is will allow you to do that. And then once you get into the community, you can take that opportunity. Once you establish yourself with like 4 or 5 listings, you can start to bump those rates up. Okay, so just keep that in mind. And also those lower commissions are typically on lower priced homes. It's a $5,000 home, it might be $1,000. But then there again, even if it's a $5,000 home, I've had agents charge $2,500. So there again, it comes down to time and what your time is worth. All right, because it's going to take the same amount of time to sell a $5,000 home as it is a $70,000 home. It's the same paperwork, it's everything. So it's really not. It's the same amount of time and the same costs. So, and the same cost for us as well. All right. The other thing too is graduated scales, which I've mentioned before. Is some agents will choose anything between 5 and 10 will be this commission. Anything between 10 and 30 will be 2,000. Anything 30,000 above will be 2,500. So keep that in mind as well. Some agents say, hey, listen, it's $1,750 across the board. Doesn't matter if it's a $10,000 or a $50,000 home. Some agents use graduated scales as well. So the higher the price of the home, the higher the commission. Similar in real estate. But they are flat fees. That way it keeps it simple for everybody. Everybody knows what their commission is going to be, and it'll be flat. So keep that in mind. So you can either do, flat rates, or you can do graduated scales. But just make sure that you know what your competition's charging, so it gives you the most opportunity to go in there and negotiate to get the listing. And when you're meeting again, make sure that you're always, when you're meeting with these for sale by owners or anybody on a listing appointment, make sure you have a listing agreement. That way you're always prepared. All right, thanks so much.